The announcement came quietly, almost matter-of-factly, on a Monday afternoon in August. Usher posted on Instagram, "You all are STLL, not playing about the R&B tour. The love has been unreal, so we're keeping it going," and adding MOREDATACE. "The fans have made this tour what it is. We see you. Let's keep making it BIGER." 8 additional stadium dates, 4 markets getting repeat performances, some their third or fourth times hosting the co-headlining event. The extension brought the total to 59 dates across North America, stretching from October through December. Taken separately, it was routine tour business. Every successful stadium run gets extended, but the context underneath mattered differently. For years, a tour between Usher and Chris Brown seemed like something that should have happened already. An obvious pairing of 2 of R&B's most significant figures, generationally separated, but equally influential in the music industry. Yet it hadn't. Not until now. The delay wasn't accidental. It was the product of timing, scheduling conflicts, and something less tangible, the simple difficulty of assembling 2 artists at the peak of their respective powers simultaneously. According to Colin Lewis, Live Nation's senior vice president of global touring, the natural pairing has been discussed for years. The challenge was never whether it should happen, it was finding the right moment. That moment finally arrived in 2026. The tour's origin traces back to late 2025, when both artists were between major commitments. Usher's Past, Present, Future tour, which ran through 2024 and picked back up in 2025, had concluded. Brown, meanwhile, had just wrapped his Breezy Bowl XX World Tour in October, becoming his highest-grossing tour to date with nearly $300 million earned. For the first time in years, their schedules aligned. More importantly, both had momentum. Usher had performed 83 sold-out shows across North America, the UK, and Europe, with combined grosses of $183.9 million, ranking number 2 in 2024 and number 7 among the highest-grossing R&B tours. Brown's Breezy Bowl XX grossed $300 million and sold over 2 million tickets across 52 dates. The industry machinery that makes a tour of this scale possible involves far more than 2 artists agreeing to share a stage. Mark Pitts, the record industry veteran and manager, played a crucial role in brokering the arrangement. Live Nation needed to secure stadium dates across North America, the logistics alone locking in venues, managing competing tour schedules, coordinating production for nearly 3 hours of performance, represent months of negotiation before the public announcement. Executives cited relentless efforts to finally pull off this collaboration that had been gestating for several years. Media posts and ticket sales lies an industry infrastructure of promoters, venue managers, sponsors, and security coordinators. The tour exists because enough people with enough power decided it was worth their effort to make it real, but that infrastructure wouldn't matter if the product didn't work. That actually mattered in early 2026. Would putting Usher and Chris Brown on the same stage for nearly 3 hours every night actually resonate with audiences? There were reasons to be uncertain. The 2 artists emerged from different R&B lineages. Usher Raymond, currently celebrating over 30 years in the industry, had just come off a career-defining 2024 that saw him headline Super Bowl All Fry and release his 9th studio album, Coming Home. With over 80 million records sold worldwide and 8 Grammy Awards to his name, he remains the gold standard for R&B showmanship. On the other side of the stage stood Chris Brown, who spent the last 20 years evolving from a teen pop sensation into the king of R&B for a new generation. Their catalogs don't overlap cleanly. Their approaches to performance differ. Usher refined. Particular brand of smoothness, controlled, choreographed, technically precise. Brown brought raw energy and athletic choreography. Whether those aesthetics would enhance each other or create friction wasn't guaranteed. Then there was the matter of their relationship. 2 years earlier in Las Vegas, there had been an altercation, a reported 2023 Las Vegas altercation between Usher and Chris Brown raised questions, but they had previously collaborated on songs such as New Flame and Party, suggesting the conflict wasn't fundamental. Still, it existed in recent memory. The tour in some ways functioned as public reconciliation, not an apology tour, but something more interesting. Two major figures in R&B deciding that their shared influence mattered more than whatever had created distance between them. The first show happened on June 26, 2026 in Denver. Chris Brown and Usher's R&B tour kicked off Friday, June 26 in Denver. Reports from early dates described sold-out stadiums, crowd energy that exceeded expectations, and a show structure that worked far better than skeptics might have predicted. The stadium run paired their individual catalogs with collaborative moments throughout a nearly 3-hour production. The show is structured across 9 acts, with Usher and Brown alternating performances rather than appearing in separate traditional headline sets. Their joint tour also featured appearances from artists including 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Ashanti, Method Man, Future, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss. Mario, Eric Bellinger, and Tank joined the production as supporting performers. The design treated it not as 2 separate shows, but as a unified event, one narrative arc across 9 distinct segments, each artist handling distinct material but returning repeatedly to the central concept. These 2 generations of R&B belonged together. What happened over the following months revealed something deeper about the music industry and cultural appetite in 2026. The demand was not merely strong, it was sustained and growing. Venues that had one show were asking for more. Markets were adding repeat dates. The initial routing had assumed demand would follow standard concert dynamics. Strong in major cities, moderate in secondary markets, then taper. Instead, virtually everywhere added more shows. Before the latest expansion, the R&B Tour had already added multiple dates in high-demand markets. The newly announced shows bring first-time stops for the current tour to Baltimore, Cincinnati, Columbia, and Indianapolis. This extension represented not just success, but overperformance. The tour was generating the kind of numbers that made promoters and venues push for additional dates even months after the initial announcement. Ticket pricing strategy offers insight into how Live Nation positioned this in the market. Ticket prices range from about $120 to over $300, positioning it as premium entertainment but not in the ultra-luxury tier. The range suggests intentionality. Accessible entry points for fans on tighter budgets, ceiling seats for those willing to pay for premium positioning. The pre-sale strategy prioritized different fan segments: city pre-sale access for cardholders, artist pre-sales for fan club members, car, then general public sales. Each layer was designed to extract maximum revenue while maintaining the perception of scarcity and desirability. What the tour extension in August revealed, however, was something that transcends business mechanics. There exists in 2026 a hunger for R&B as cultural statement, not as nostalgia or retro packaging, but as contemporary force. According to industry observers, this is a rare moment where 2 generational talents come together on one stage. R&B has reemerged as one of the most exciting and influential forces in music. For Usher and Chris, it's an opportunity to introduce their music to new audiences while strengthening their connection with longtime fans. For the genre, it's a statement that R&B is not only thriving, it's leading the conversation. That assessment carries weight because it reflects what the box office data actually showed. R&B touring was generating massive revenue. The genre wasn't declining or fighting for relevance, it was outperforming. The personal dimension of the tour mattered, though it rarely appears in official statements. Usher, now in his early 50s, had nothing left to prove commercially. His Vegas residencies, his Super Bowl performance, his album releases, he'd achieve the kind of career security where additional success is luxury rather than necessity, yet he was bringing this tour to life. Similarly, Chris Brown, now approaching 35, could retire comfortably on the Breezy Bowl revenues alone. The choice to tour together wasn't compelled by financial desperation. It suggested something closer to artistic motivation, a genuine interest in seeing what two R&B icons could create when they shared focus and resources. The song selection and performance structure reveal how they approached this question. Both artists carried decades of hits. Usher could fill 90 minutes with songs most fans already knew. Brown similarly possessed a catalog of radio successes and album deep cuts. Rather than treating the tour as separate sets where each artist proved their depth, the 9-act structure created rhythm and variation. It prevented audience fatigue. From one artist's extended solo performance. It also created natural moments for the other artist to reset, prepare, recharge. The tour design suggested collaborative thinking about the audience experience, not competitive thinking about who could command more attention. By August, when the extension was announced, the financial picture was already clear. Both artists had secured stadium dates averaging 70,000 plus capacity. Most shows were selling completely. Secondary market demand suggested people were willing to pay 150 to 200% of face value to attend. The 8 additional dates represented not desperation to recoup tour costs but confidence that additional inventory could be sold at premium pricing. Live Nation and the artists' teams had data showing demand could support those dates. What the social media response to the extension announcement revealed was different from pure commercial satisfaction. Fan accounts across platforms didn't just celebrate the additional dates. They celebrated the fact that Usher and Chris Brown were still performing, still creating together, still committed to the tour beyond its initial run. The comment sections filled with people expressing they'd already attended and would attend again. Others described scrambling to afford tickets. A subset mentioned health challenges they'd overcome to attend or hope to overcome to catch the additional dates. It represented something these fans valued sufficiently to reorganize their schedules and finances around. The cultural moment the tour occupied in summer and autumn of 2026 can't be separated from the broader entertainment landscape. Streaming had thoroughly transformed music consumption, creating an economic environment where touring became the primary revenue driver for most artists. The album cycle still mattered.